So usually when collegiate players declare for the NFL draft, they put up this fancy Twitter graphic talking about how they appreciate the fans, the coaches, and everything in college football that they loved, and that they are going to go ahead and forego their senior season and go on to the NFL draft. However, Kyler Murray did it a little bit differently. He just put out a frank and blunt tweet saying that I am declaring for the NFL draft. Now, his situation is a little bit different than most players' situation because he actually was already drafted in the first round of an MLB draft by the Oakland A's, and they actually paid him out $4.6 million being a first-round pick for the Oakland A's. So he decided that, basically gave the A's an ultimatum, said, hey, you guys can either give me $15 million or I'm going to go on to the NFL. And, of course, the A's weren't going to meet that. They're not going to give him that much money. But, I mean, it was him at least saying, look, if you guys want to keep me, give me this money. If not, I'm going to the NFL. And, you know, the NFL, while the careers are usually shorter, the money is a lot better, especially if you're at a quarterback position. And if you're a first-round pick, you know, last year Baker Mayfield at, you know, the #1 overall draft, he has a guaranteed $32.7 million coming to him. And, of course, in the NFL, rookie contracts, it's all fully guaranteed. So he got 4 years, $32.7 million, and Lamar Jackson got picking at number 32 at the opposite end of the first round, basically has $8.1 million guaranteed. So if Kyler Murray were to potentially lock up that number or that first round pick, then he would be getting out a pretty big payout. With Kyler Murray, man, it's interesting. It's an interesting situation with him because, of course, the Jaguars are in a position where we need to be able to get a quarterback this draft. It doesn't matter whether it be the first round, second round, third round. At some point, we've got to be able to get a quarterback and start trying to develop him and see how it goes from there. Now, you look at Kyler Murray, really the main thing holding him back is his height. It is not only his height, but his size. You know, Oklahoma today officially came out with the height that he was at the beginning of the season, and he's 5'9". So he's 5'9", he's around 185, 195 pounds, somewhere in that range. We're going to know for sure once the NFL draft gets here. They've come out with everything from height to weight to hand measurements. I mean, they give you everything on these players. So it'll be really interesting to see what he finally gets down at. And, you know, you compare them. Usually when there's shorter quarterbacks that come out, you try to compare them to other successful quarterbacks. You know, like Baker Mayfield. He's 6'1", 209 pounds. Breeze, he's 6 foot, 209 pounds. Russell Wilson, 5'11", 206 pounds. So they're all in that 205 to 210 pound range. That'll be one interesting thing to see about Kyler Murray is what spot he is actually weighing, because he looks like he could be anywhere between 175 pounds to like 190 pounds, and that's probably kind of at a maximum thing. So the real question is, like, how would Kyler Murray fit into, say, the Jaguar system? I feel like with the Jaguar system, with the way they want to run their offense, with the way they kind of built it around Leonard Fournette, I don't know if he'd be the best fit for the Jaguars option. You know, I think that if there was more of a spread system, I think Kyler Murray would be able to succeed in much more than a team that likes to really pound the ball in the run game and play great defense. Now, that's not to say that Kyler Murray won't necessarily do bad, because with Kyler Murray, man, he's got a really good arm. I mean, obviously, if you're a baseball player, usually baseball players have nice arms, and that's one thing that Kyler Murray has. He's led to really good offensive attack for Oklahoma. I mean, you always saw them basically getting in shootouts. But, you know, there's a lot of things that do hold you back about Kyler Murray and kind of make you worry about him, and that's just mainly like his size. You never know once he gets hit how he's going to get up from it. Also, he's more of a running type of quarterback. I mean, he's really good with his feet. It's just, with me, I'm not... I like a quarterback to not really be able to throw the ball first, and you just worry if he's going to be able to see over offensive linemen's heads. So with me, you know, I don't think that, and Kyler Murray in my eyes would be a first-round grade for the Jaguars, or at least, you know, to take at number 7. I mean, really in my eyes, the only quarterback I think that's actually worthy of a number 7 spot is Dwayne Haskins. I just like bigger players, and the dude's got a rocket of an arm. Reeds feels really well for the minimum amount of games that he's been in. However, you know, if you hold out on a quarterback in the first round and then you want to get a guy in the second round, that could be an option for the Jaguars if Dwayne Haskins is gone and they don't want to reach too far in a quarterback. Because in the second round, you know, there may be some guys there like Kyler Murray or like Will Grier, Daniel Jones, you know, Drew Lock. I mean, there's guys that all those guys probably won't be available in the second round, but at least one of them probably will. And you don't have to invest like your whole entire future into a player if you don't, you know, if you draft a guy in the top 10, you are basically committing a lot of your franchise to them. If you get a second round pick or later, it's not necessarily as much. I mean, you saw a couple years ago in the 2017 NFL draft, the Browns drafted DeShone Kizer out of Notre Dame in the second round. And then they played him for a year. He didn't really work out. And then they go off and, you know, trade him for basically a defensive back. You know, if the Jaguars want to, you know, if they draft a guy like Kyler Murray, Drew Lock, whatever, if they don't work out, maybe send them off for, you know, some kind of player. Then if you're set up in a good spot in the draft, you could get, you know, one of these guys like Tua or one of these guys like, you know, Herbert coming out or any of the quarterbacks coming out, just because this is a weaker draft class this year. But, you know, with Kyler Murray, I do like him, but we need to change our offensive philosophy if we were to get a guy like him. A lot more zone kind of plays, a lot more plays out of shotgun. We need to spread the ball out, but I just worry that I think a guy like Dwayne Haskins, I think with him, he can really elevate players, and he might be able to play with subpar talent, as opposed to Kyler Murray, where I feel like he may have to have a lot of pieces around him, a lot of offensive weapons, whether that be really good tight ends, you know, good wide receivers, stuff like that, good run game, to be able to be successful. So I don't know if I would draft Kyler Murray in a first round for the Jaguars, but I would definitely be interested in him in the second round if he is still available. Like I said, we just had to change our offense a little bit. So that's my quick thoughts on a guy like Kyler Murray. It's exciting that he comes out for the draft just because it's another quarterback to add to the mix. He could very well go in the first round to a team that really wants to build around a guy like him. I know there's some rumors about Cliff Kingsbury kind of wanting him over with number 1 overall pick in Arizona. He said that a couple years ago, and that's kind of rumored around. But we'll see where he goes. It'll be really fascinating to see where a guy like him goes. And, you know, he's an exciting player, electric player. I'll be rooting for him because I'm always a fan of underdogs kind of coming in there. But can he be like a Baker Mayfield, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson? The main difference between those guys is that all those guys that I mentioned are over 200 pounds, while Kyler Murray is under it. So that's one thing to look at. Now, thank you guys all so much for watching my video. This is UCF Jaguar with GenJag.com, and I'm out.